Did you watch the ICT 2024 mentorship and still find yourself struggling? Or maybe you're just starting the ICT mentorship and getting dizzy with all the PD arrays, mitigation blocks, FVGs, IFVGs, breaker blocks, order blocks, vacuum blocks? Trust me, I've been there too. I was an ICT trader and it took me a very long time to finally become profitable. If that sounds just like you, stop right here and watch this simple setup that's proven to make you profitable in less time. And speaking of success, a huge shout out to Fluxus, our group admin, who finally conquered the Topstep challenge in just 7 days using the Moneymaker setup, the very setup I will teach in this video. She's been funded before, but Topstep is known as the hardest challenge in the industry, and she nailed it. Before we dive into today's content, I want to make one thing absolutely clear. Everything I'm sharing with you today is completely free. The setup, the knowledge, even access to our Discord community, there's no catch, no paid services, and this is not a money grab video. My goal is to simply help you succeed without any hidden costs. Now, let me quickly introduce you to the Moneymaker setup. If you're thinking that trading strategies need to be complicated to work, think again. The beauty of the Moneymaker setup is its simplicity. In fact, it's so straightforward that I can teach you the entire concept in just a couple of minutes. Here's how it works. We focus on trading with the trend structure. First, we identify key levels in the market. These are usually areas where price has made a significant move or a pullback, like a previous high or low. When the market pulls back to around 50% of this unmitigated structure, following the trend, that's where our opportunity lies. We're looking for a solid entry at the 50%, and we're aiming for the 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. But it's not just about entries, it's about knowing when to get more conservative. So, once a higher time frame high is taken out, like in this example, we expect either an accumulation or a change in order flow, which tell us to adjust our strategy. So we're not taking longs from here, but we're waiting for a new order flow to show itself from here. So we will either accumulate in this zone, and then we will change order flow, and then we will take only bearish trades till they change order flow again, and then we will take bullish trades again. So if you've been struggling with complex setups, this might be the perfect fit for you. Simple, effective, and most importantly, profitable. And remember, everything you need to get started is right here and free of charge. Now, let's put this setup to the test. We're going to backtest it using yesterday's, Tuesday, the 30th of August, price action in Nasdaq, and see exactly how you can implement the Moneymaker setup in real market conditions. This will give you a clear example of how it works in practice and how you can start using it in your own trading. Okay, so let's start the day by identifying the 15-minute structure. So as you guys can see, this candle closed above this high. Now, this is a break of structure, right? And the moment we close under this last up closing candle, we have our valid pullback. Okay, so this is when we closed above or under this candle, we have our valid pullback, and the moment we close back again above this high, we have our valid zone. Okay, so here was our valid zone, right? So price just mitigated the 50% and went a bit further, then it gave another break of structure and a new zone. Okay, so this was now our new protected low, and we break structure again. Okay, then the moment we close under this bullish candle, we have our valid pullback. Okay, which make this now our last valid bullish zone. Okay, So we were bullish in the M15. Okay. Now price already mitigated the 50% and gave the one-to-one we like to trade. But the price also stayed accumulating in market close and before market close. And let's see if they can give us another entry at the 50% to bring it to the one-to-one again. Okay. So this is a huge zone. Our risk management is very simple. We just risk the same amount of money every trade. So I'm not advising you guys to take those huge zones, but if it fits your trading style, so be it. Okay. On the M1, I didn't see that we made internal structure by closing above this high, which made this a bullish zone, right? So what do you do when you locate a bullish zone in a bullish structure? You take the one-to-one from the 50%. Okay, that's an easy 10 points in Asia. Okay, that was our first win. Okay, but when price is looking like this, which is like real accumulation and consolidation, I just don't advise you guys to take those kind of trades. Why? Because they are very risky, and in accumulation, prices seeking highs and lows, like in this case, and you'll end up cooked. Okay, so we have now created a new bullish zone. Okay, but the problem here is that we took this higher time frame high, which make this zone now a little bit risky. Okay, so if you follow the rules, you don't take this kind of trades, but we will take them. Okay, so that's a one-to-one. Okay, 2 wins, easy peasy. We enter at the 50% and target the one-to-one of the valid zone we located. Okay, we are still waiting for this higher time frame entry, or we're just using it as bias. We're only taking now longs to take and target this high. Okay, let's see what's happened. Okay, so they're accumulating again. Okay, okay, all right. Let's just delete this. All right, so they created now this bullish zone, right? So it's valid. It's a valid pullback because we closed under this bullish candle. Okay, that's number one. And it's a valid zone when we take and close above this high. So this is a valid zone now. Okay, so we take in the one-to-one like here. We're in, and this is still very risky, just like I told you, because we are accumulating. But let's see. All right, all right. I think here the one-to-one was given, right? Or just a tick short. Okay, so it's taking its time. All right. Okay, so another win. Okay, so 3 wins. Now I'm just showing you that this works every time. or most of the times. Okay, I'm not advising you guys to take every single trade like this. Even I don't trade like this. I have special fractals that now I recognize that are high probability, and I only take those trades if I see 1 or 2 trades, and I'll be done for the day. Okay. Okay. Now it happened after. Will we close above this? No. So this is now a valid pullback because we closed under this candle. So if price close above it, we will have a bullish zone, a new one. Okay, so no, nothing for now. This is internal structure, by the way. You can also risk trades from here. As you can see, there is a one-to-one also here. But I don't really advise you guys to take lots of trades like that. So we closed above this zone now. So we have now our valid zone, and limits are set in this 50% if they tag us in. Okay, will they tag us in? See, okay, okay, nothing for now. So we had this last up closing candle here, and we closed under it in this candle, which make this one a valid zone also. And we closed above it and accumulated. If you guys go to my moneymaker type setups, this is an A plus and A++ with accumulation and displacement above the small zone. So that's another setup we take from the 50%. Okay, so that's a fourth win. Okay, we are still in Asia. Okay, so did we close above this zone now? Not yet, but we closed above this internal zone, which is also an ICT dealing range. It was a bearish one because we took this buy side liquidity here and then took sell side, right? So we're in at this 50%, because when the dealing range gets inversed, it has now good chance to work from the 50%. Okay, let's see. So we're in, and our fifth win just by following structure, drawing our zones, and entering from the 50% and just taking the one-to-one. Okay, so the moment we close above this high, this just wicked this zone, right? So when we wick this zone, I don't count it as a break of structure, and my zone high or valid pullback high is still this one. So the higher time frame zone for me is still this, not this. Why? Because I've seen them take liquidity here a lot before delivering this one-to-one. Okay, so let's see, they tag us in, right? So this is not a valid pullback. Those are the invalid zones. So this was the last up closing candle. This didn't close above this wick, and this didn't close above this wick. So this is still our last bullish candle that we needed to close under for a valid pullback. Okay, So this is not a valid pullback. Maybe a valid pullback in a lower time frame, but not in this time frame. Okay, not a valid zone or pullback here again. Okay, cool. So now we are just accelerating now, and we took this high. Okay, now we saw that it's a 15-minute high. Okay, so the moment we close above this high in the 15 minutes, this is a valid pullback in the M15 because we closed above the last up closing candle here. So we will, and the moment we close above that valid pullback high, we will seek our lowest low like that, and we will draw the zone from the lowest low to the highest high. Okay, so when we take a higher time frame high, so this is a 15-minute high, and we were trading in M1. So when we take this higher time frame high, we expect an accumulation, then a change of order flow to go mitigate the 50% of the higher time frame zone. So this whole rule about stopping trading when we take a higher time frame high is just facilitating the mitigation of the 50% of the new zone created in the higher time frame. Okay, so it's just this easy. Now we took this high. When we take it, I start doing nothing, right? And I'm interested back again when they make it back to this zone. So I'm either waiting for them to create good bearish zones and bearish order flow, take me back here to the 50%, or I will wait for them to come here and take a trade from this 50% and target the 1-to-1, or I will just wait for them to change order flow and give me a good zone entry in the M1. Okay, now let's continue. Okay, so we created now this zone. So this was the last down close candle in here. I think it was this one, and we closed, no, it was this one, and we closed above it here. Okay, and then we closed under it, and also we had dealing range. Why? Because we took this buy side liquidity and then took the sell side liquidity. When this happened, it's all I've been it's all I wait for before knowing that order flow now is changed, and I can take zone entries from this 50%. Okay, so we're not tagged in. Okay, so we missed this one. We create now a valid pullback. Why? Because we closed above this last down close candle, and we closed again under it. So this is a valid bearish zone. Okay, I'm in if they tag me at this 50%. Okay, okay, they're accumulating now, and we closed now under this bearish valid pullback. Okay, so now we have a new valid zone, right? Now there is another rule that say that we don't trust the 50% of a zone if we have an unmitigated zone above it. Okay, but we are stress testing the moneymaker setup here, so we are taking the trade from the 50%. Okay, if they tag us in. So we're in, okay, and we got our first loss. So now that they took this zone, they don't need to actually mitigate the 50% of this whole zone because they already took liquidity. And what is important for them as market makers, liquidity is more important than anything else, right? So if they tag us in this 50%, we're in. If not, oh well. So as you can see here, they end up taking this high and we flipped back bearish under the accumulation that was responsible of liquidating this high. Okay, so now we are bearish. We're not taking zones or bullish zones from here. Why? Because those are trap zones in bearish order flow. So now I'm interested if they make it back to this 50% and take the 1-to-1, or if you like to take trades and hold, you just enter at this fair value gap here because now the zone is small, right? So you can risk it at this fair value gap and maybe take it to this 50%, okay? But this is not what we are talking about here, right? If we get back to the 50%, we're in, okay? So no 50% tag, and we created now, we didn't create actually because this is not a valid pullback. For this to be a valid pullback, we needed to close above this candle, okay? So we're just falling now, okay, okay. Now this is a trap I see some guys taking. So they see a wick under a bullish or bearish zone, okay, and they think now they wick at the low, they will take the highs, okay. But the problem is in a bearish order flow, even a wick is considered as a break of structure, right? So we only take the wicks when we wick the highs, and then we will take the lows. So these wicks are usually just for them to facilitate mitigation of some kind of FVG above, and then to resume price lower, okay? So we're still waiting for a bearish zone to be created, okay? But now we are making it now to this 50%, okay? So we just mitigated the 50%. Now that we are in this very discounted price zone in the 15-minute, in the higher time frame, we're not taking any more bearish trades, okay? So this is how you actually play it safe and avoid lots of losses, okay? So we're not taking these bullish trades or bearish trades anymore, and we are waiting for a change of order flow to make it bullish, okay? So this is enough for me to know that order flow is maybe now changed, okay? So I'm not taking trades from this zone, okay? But let's just say you take it, okay? Like in the other videos. Let's just say we took a bearish trade from this valid zone, okay? So that's another loss, okay? But now we have our new bullish zone. The moment we close above this, okay? So now that we closed, all right, we wait for price to tag this 50% to take the 1-to-1 again, okay? So price actually never tagged the 50% and only tagged this breaker block, bullish breaker block. So breaker block works But the problem here is, where do you put your stop loss? So this is the breaker, okay? So when you take this trade, where do you put your stop loss? So they like to put their stop loss just under the breaker, but for me it's madness. Why? Because I've seen them go to mitigate this 50% or maybe this 70%. So you are only safe if you put your stop under the protected low. So taking this breaker trades are madness, because the stop loss is like 50 points. Okay? And where do you take your profits? 1-to-1 for a 40 points trade? That's like madness. They work, but it's still madness to me. Okay? So we closed above this valid pullback, which is valid because we closed above this up closing candle. So we have now our new bullish zone. So if they make it to this 50%, we're in. Okay. So they just missed us again. No problem. Now we have our new zone. So this is the valid pullback. We wicked above it. We don't count it. And then we did our valid or lowest low. And then we closed above the valid pullback high. So this is our zone now. So again, price is maybe just accelerating to take these weak highs. Okay. I think it's 8:30 here. So news also. So we don't normally trade the moment news are released. But let's play. Okay. Okay. All right. So this is not a valid pullback because they didn't close under this candle, right? So this was still the last up closing candle. So either we wait for a new valid pullback to be created here, or come back maybe to this zone. Okay. Now that we took this higher time frame high, we accumulated, as you can see, right? But sometimes we never make it back to the 50%, especially in trend days. So those are the days or the times we create a zone and we close above it with displacement. So they will just keep playing the structure we have in this time frame we are actually trading. Okay. So now we created a new zone and it's a valid pullback because we closed under this candle. Okay. And as I told you guys, on trend days, they will not mitigate the 50%, but they will just tag these fair value gaps in here and mitigation blocks, something like that, and just keep flying. So the moment you catch a trade, you take it. Okay. Okay. So we're in and we got our 6th win. Okay. Very, very good. Now, if we close above this, we trail our stop or protected low to this one, and our zone is this one. It has also a valid pullback because this is the last up closing candle in this swing and we closed under it. So it's a valid pullback. Okay, so if we tag the 50%, we're in. Okay, so we never tagged the 50%, no problems. And we created a zone just above it. Okay, because now we closed here, this candle, we closed above this valid pullback. And what happened is price gave the instant 1-to-1. So that's our 7th win. Okay, let's see what will happen. Okay, so if you're not tagged in, you're tagged in now. and the 1-to-1, right? Okay. So here, um, everybody yesterday in the Discord took these trades. So price created also for the guys that were in the 15 seconds. We had this bearish zone, and price gave also the 1-to-1 here. Why? Because we were waiting for the tag of this A plus with accumulation money maker that you guys can learn. So we were placing our limits also here. So we got tagged and in an instant win, right? Okay. So now we created a new zone. New protected low is this one, and new zone is this. Okay. So we're in if they ever tag us at this 50%, right? No. So they created a new bullish zone and the valid pullback. We closed under this last up closing candle. So this is new bullish zone. So if we're in, right? And this is our 9th win for the day. All easy and very mechanical wins. Okay, so we didn't close above this yet. Okay, so now we closed, right? So I actually didn't see it correctly, but here we closed and never mitigated this 50%. So for me, this is now our new valid zone because it's a valid pullback because we closed under this candle and we created a valid zone. So I'm in now and our 10th win. All of this was happening while ICT was waiting for price to somehow go back down here in his 2024 ICT mentorship while we were stacking the wins. And everybody was happy in the Discord. So we created now this valid zone. All right. And that's normally another trade. But I remember this was a loser or not. Okay. So that's our 11th win. I remember some loser happening this time. Okay. So we closed now above this high, valid pullback high, and we have our new zone. So we will take it from here. And I think this is the zone that Dave corrected for a student in my Discord. And he didn't like how the student answered. So this was the valid pullback low, right? And high. And this only wicked it. So when we wick a valid pullback high, I act like nothing happened and still keep my low, the low of the last low just before the valid pullback high. Okay, so why? Because I've seen them wick this low and then giving the 1-to-1 a lot, right? So this is how we do it, and the 1-to-1 was given in 2 candles. Okay, very beautiful. Now we created now this new zone. Okay, and another win. We created this new zone. And this was the loss. Why this was a loss? Because in the 15-second, we had this perfect glitch setup. So whenever we have a glitch under a zone, just know that the zone will get wicked just for price to come and go resume its way, right? But now, the most important thing that happened here is that we closed under a valid protected low, okay? So when you count your swings, when we close under valid protected low, the swings reset, right? So it's a higher time frame pullback, and by design, the count or the swing count is reset here, okay? So we closed above this, okay? So this was now our new zone, okay? So they didn't mitigate this 50%, so this is now our new zone, okay? All right. Okay. So we created now this bullish zone. Okay, something you need to know. So whenever they wick just close to the 50% and give the one-to-one, I never trust this 50% again and never take the trade from it, right? So, because for me, this is internal bearish structure, but it's a loss and we will count it, okay? Okay. So what happened here is we had this new bearish zone, right? So we closed under it here. So if we mitigate this 50%, I'm taking the one-to-one, right? So I'm in and an instant one-to-one and so and the win from the last bullish candle, because why? This is a plus money maker zone with displacement and accumulation, right? So 2 wins, 15 wins, 3 losses. Okay, so we have now this bearish structure here. This is risky. Why? Because we were bullish all the day, so they can just take easily this high as liquidity, right? So we are tagged and we have our one-to-one. Cool. Cool. We have this internal zone now, bullish one, right? Because we closed above this valid pullback high. So if they tag our 50%, we're in. Okay, so we're in. And that's a loss, right? But it's actually 3 o'clock. And we never actually trade after 3 o'clock. So I'm not counting it as a loss because you should be done for the day at like 2:30 or something like that. This is power hour, and usually price action is rude and never respects in zones at this time. Okay. And there you have it. After backtesting the moneymaker setup with yesterday's Nasdaq price action, we ended up with 16 wins, 3 losses. This just goes to show how powerful and consistent this setup can be. If you've been struggling to find a strategy that works, or if you've overwhelmed by all the complexity out there, I hope this video has shown you that trading doesn't have to be complicated to be profitable. The Moneymaker setup is simple, effective, and proven to deliver results. Remember, everything I've shared with you today is completely free. If you want to dive deeper, join our Discord community where we discuss and refine these strategies every day. It's a place where you can learn, grow, and connect with other like-minded traders, all at no cost. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. And if you have any questions or want to share your own experience, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.